Hello, welcome your faces back to the Morgue Podcast. I am here, back again, episode 3, and we're joined today by not Nath on Twitch, it's NathOnKick now. Say hello, how are you doing? Welcome back.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back, appreciate you having me back, Luke.
Oh,
we've changed to Kick now.
It's good to have you back, mate. It's good to have you back. I'm about to blow your mind with this case and also your viewers' mind. One of the most famous cases ever in the world. Now, it's been unsolved for over nearly 60 years, unsolved. But it's been solved recently. But we're going to get to that later on. But this is the case, the horrifying serial killer case. The first serial killer we've tackled properly that we know of on this channel is the Zodiac Killer. Do you know anything about the Zodiac Killer, Nath, before we get into it?
I mean, I've read up a little bit, but I don't know too much. I'm just kind of hoping you can give me all the facts. And as you've just said, it's been solved. I did not know it's been solved. I will be honest with you. So I'm looking forward to hearing about that.
There you go. So this man was around in the late 60s and early 70s. He has killed at least 5 people he's claimed to kill, but he's also claimed to killed 37 people in total. His victims were teenagers, young teenagers around the age 15 to 18 to 13 to 14. So we're going to get into it. So the first victims that he did go for is 17-year-old David Faraday and 16-year-old Betty Lou Johnson. They were shot and killed in a parked car in a gravel parking area off Lake Herman Road in California. He terrorized California in the late 60s. Shot and killed both of them while they're sitting down. Obviously, back in those times, that's how they met up, teenagers going for, a bit of tomfoolery in the background, as they say. But so imagine, Nath, you're there, right? You're in your teens, and you're with your missus, and some geezer comes out and shoots you.
Was there any talking involved? Was it literally bang, bang, both dead?
He walked up to the car, bang, bang, they're both dead. By the time police arrived to the car, Betty, the woman, was dead, and about 30 feet away from the car. So the person dragged David out of the car, and he was still alive. But yeah, he was, but he died on the way to the hospital. But literally, he walked up to the car, Nath, and just shot him without even thinking about it. Just gone. It was, but little did America know they were working with a serial killer, the origins of a serial killer, unfortunately.
So that was his first kill into being the serial killer that he is obviously known as today.
Literally, yeah. It all started there, and he didn't even have the name the Zodiac yet. He was just killed teenagers. Like, I don't get it, bro, with serial killers. Obviously, this one's probably the most famous ones in history. That's why I'm doing it. But it's just kind of like he wasn't like known for using he did use a knife sometimes, but mostly it was just a handgun, and he wouldn't say a word and he'd just shoot you. Do you know what I mean? But this guy is proper nutty when you'll find out later on.
The type of kills, obviously, we've only gone through the first couple of kills that he's done, but it sounds personal. But obviously, as we now know it wasn't personal. It was just he was a lunatic.
Yeah.
For someone to go up to a car with 2 teenagers in, just minding their own business, and just shoot them dead without saying anything, without an argument, without anything. It sounds personal, as if that couple have done something to him.
But as you come to find, it's the same type of people that he goes for. But literally, 2 teenagers, 16 and 17, in the late 60s, 70s, they would still be alive today if they didn't get shot. They'd be old, but they'd still be alive today. But honestly, it's terrifying. Like the last moments you see, bang, bang, gun. You're gone.
It really is.
But it didn't stop there, Nath. July 4th, 1969, Blue Rock Springs Park in California. Again, California. He was at it again. It was at a car park this time. Nice gravel car park. And the Zodiac approached the car with a flashlight. He shot 22-year-old Darlene Ferrin and 19-year-old Michael Magoo in a car again. Same thing. Shot them both. Both were still alive when they were found, though. That's the thing.
Oh, okay.
Michael Magoo was able to make out the face of the man that shot him. He described the man as a young white man, approximately 26 to 30 years old, stocky, 200 pounds or larger, about 5'8", light brown, curly hair, and he had a large face on him. Within an hour, police received a call from somebody claiming to be the shooter of these two. He also claimed to be the shooter of the Lake Herman Road murders, which were the two 16, 17-year-olds that we just talked about there. So what's your thoughts on that? So they got a description now.
We've got a description. The fact that he's rang the police to basically say, I've done these killings. I mean, nowadays, the police would track the phone call, it'd be found within an hour, or at least where the phone call was taking place. Obviously, in the late 60s, I mean, I don't know what technology was like back then, but I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have been able to track where the phone call was coming from. I'm not sure, but I don't think they would have. So making the phone call to the police to admit it, I don't know why he would do that, unless he was kind of got like adrenaline from maybe knowing the police are coming for him type thing. He might have got a rush of being on the run type thing. Yeah. But the fact he's just killed another couple, just point blank dead. Obviously, that they survived a little bit. But did these two survive?
They did survive. They did survive. They made it. Yeah.
So, but maybe he wanted to get caught. In my opinion, maybe he shot them enough not to die, but enough to make a police case about it. And obviously, the fact he's rang up as well, he might wanted to have either wanted to be caught or wanted to be chased. Well, the fact that he wasn't caught shows me he just wanted the chase. But then it's neither here or there really, because I don't know. So he's gone on to do more.
He has gone on to do more. Yeah. Obviously, this guy. Most serial killers love the thrill of the chase. They love it. Yeah. They love the fact that the cops are getting close. They love that they could potentially catch him, if you get me. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. They could potentially catch him and stuff like that. And honestly, it's kind of crazy to think about, really, why, they would do that. But honestly, it's been like that with many serial killers. If you know your serial killers like I do, unfortunately, like Ted Bundy, the thriller getting caught, obviously Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker, just to name a few. It's always about
Dahmer as well.
Oh, Dahmer. Yeah, but Dahmer was very. When you're on the topic of Dahmer, obviously he was a nutty bastard. He loved eating people, which is nightmare. But he was very apologetic after, and he helped the cops out, trying to find out about bodies.
Obviously, we don't want to talk about Dahmer right now, but I feel like because he left all the stuff as an apartment. Do you know what I mean? Like he wanted to be caught one day.
Oh, he did. Yeah. Like that, every serial killer likes the thrill of the chase. Some of them actually want to be caught. Ed Kemper, for example, killed 5 people, including his mother, and he rang the police himself, and he's still alive today, and he done that in the 70s. Like it's mental when you think about it, how their brain works.
Might be for fame as well. Kind of thing, like to be known as a killer might give them some sort of thrill and feel like they have this power. You know, yes. Like they're known as a killer.
Yes.
It might be like a power hungry type of person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, you're 100% right. And with the Zodiac, this guy loved playing with the cops. You're going to see it soon tonight. But he loved playing with the cops. He loved getting in their heads. So I'm going to talk to you now about how this all starts, pretty much. So at the moment, he's committed 2 murders. He's done 2 attempted murders. Same type of thing. Walked up to the car, shooting them both. Couples in cars. He loved it, right? So this is August 1st. 1969, right? So only a few days after the attack on Michael and Betty. So the San Francisco Examiner, it's like a newspaper, like, you know what I mean? There's the news agents. They receive a letter, pretty much, with this handwriting on it. 3 identical letters claiming to be the killer. So in these letters, they were writing about specific details of the crimes and stuff like that. He goes, there's a quote here, he goes, "I shall state some facts which only I and the police know." Sent it to the Times. He left a distinct mark on these letters, and he was basically much saying he loved killing people, the thrill of killing people. He loved killing people more than having intercourse with obviously the opposite sex. That's what he was saying in the letters. So the thrill of killing someone is way better than that. But he would mark it, all 3 letters marked with a symbol. It's very distinct, and it was the circle with the crosshair in it, which is the Zodiac sign. And this is when they started to give him the name, the Zodiac Killer and stuff like that. But the fucker would literally just write letters about, oh yeah, this is how it went down and stuff like that about the crime. And he was loving it. But honestly, it's weird when it's come to that. But also in the letters, there's 3 different hieroglyphics, 3 different codes that he put in these letters. So obviously, if you've read about the serial killer, Zodiac, you kind of understand and know about these hieroglyphic codes that they demanded that they put in the thing. But the Zodiac demanded the newspapers that they print out these hieroglyphics, like these codes, like, if you get me, for him to do again. Now I've got it here. It's completely mumbo jumbo, like NK omega symbol,
just ciphers and
yeah.
3
of them, and he said to the newspaper, if they don't print it out, he will kill again, pretty much. So rip 3 letters, and he sent 3 fucking codes. I don't understand. Like, these codes cannot be cracked. Pretty
You've
much.
got to be smart to crack the codes. I've actually heard that only one of the codes that he wrote was only cracked in the year 2020.
Yes.
So that's 60 years since he wrote them, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. Literally, yeah. Like, so obviously, if you're the newspaper company, you're gonna want to crack these codes. Like, you're gonna want to crack them, and also you don't want to put them out in the newspaper. You don't want them to kill again, do you? That's the last thing you want. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But the Zodiac claimed that if the codes were cracked, all 3 codes were cracked, it would reveal his identity. So he wanted to be caught. That was the thing. He wanted to be caught.
Just playing games.
Yeah, literally. He just played games with the police and the newspaper. He wanted people to know who he is. And then after the first one was editioned, there was another letter that came on August 4th, and he now had himself as the Zodiac, because that's what they were calling him. So he just said, you know what, I like that, and he's now the Zodiac now, basically, pretty much. In the phrase, it says, I am the Zodiac speaking. That's how he started the letters up. And he marked the first time he referred himself as the Zodiac, pretty much. August 8th, 1969, the code was cracked by a couple in California. It reads, I like killing. It's so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all to kill. Something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is ever better than getting your rocks off with a girl. All the best part is when I die, I will be reborn in paradise. Those who I've killed will become my slaves, and I will not give you my name because you will try and slow down or stop my collecting of slaves to the afterlife. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I did read up a little bit about that. So he must have thought that all the lives that he was killing, when he died, they were going to be his slaves. Because he's killed them in this life, they were going to be slaves in another life.
Yeah.
Which I can't comment on because we don't know what actually comes in the afterlife. Whether that's it or there is an afterlife, I don't know. But he thought there was an afterlife and they were going to be his slaves.
Like, how messed up is that though, Nath, you know? Like, what's going on? Like, why, like, I'm not laughing about it, right? But honestly, you got to think, right? The guy's obviously smart, okay? So he's obviously smart to put in these, like, codes that will reveal his identity and stuff like that, and he loved the thrill of the chase, but, you know, your man, like, he loved killing. He loved it. He thought it was like a sport. Killing man is the most hardest, like, the best thing to kill. And he's getting away with it. That's the worst thing. He's getting away with it, but he's also playing games of the way. The guy's just really smart. But it's always the smart ones, isn't it?
Killers are usually smart, yeah. They are, unless they're just, like, they're either really stupid or really smart. Sure. I feel like there's no in between.
Yeah, like the Unabomber, Ted Kaczynski, he went to Harvard, and his I think his what's it called? You know, the IQ, thank you. IQ score was over 130, something like that, like something ridiculous like that. So my man's smart, like, you know. But honestly, you know, what goes through their head to become a killer? Like, why? Like, you know, that's all the question we ask. Why? Because obviously we ain't killers, so we don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. As I said, I feel like with the Zodiac Killer, it was more of a he was just very power hungry, and getting that power, he felt powerful from killing another human. As he said, like he loved it. He loved the thrill. It was better than sexual intercourse. He just loved the thrill.
The thrill of the chase, yeah.
So, and I feel like he might have got some other thrill thinking, in the afterlife when I die, I'm going to have all these slaves. He might have thought, I'm going to be a king. I'm going to have all these slaves. Do you know what I mean? He might have thought that was what was going to happen when he dies.
That's exactly what he thought.
Obviously, we can't really comment on that because we don't actually know what's in the afterlife. If there is an afterlife, we really don't know until it's too late.
Exactly. So, like,
you know what I mean?
yeah. So this is a case that's completely different to, obviously, Madeleine McCann that we've done previously and stuff like that. Like, this is, you know, this guy's nutter. Like, this is pure murder, and he was at it again, September 27th, 1969, a month. So my man, you know, killed in July, went after him again in August, and now he's here in September, and it's in Lake Berryessa. It's a busy year. So anyway, right, he's at a lake, right, this time. So a 22-year-old by the name of Cecilia, I think her name is, Shepherd, and 20-year-old Brian Hartwell. They're by the lake. They're having a picnic on the shore. So they weren't in the car this time, but they're on the lake having a picnic. They saw a man hiding behind a nearby tree, staring at them. So my man was hiding behind a tree, staring at him. At some time, the man came out from behind the tree wearing an executioner-style hood over his head, like from the medieval days, with the Zodiac Killer symbol on his chest. And he had a gun, he had a long knife and a pre-cut rope to tie up Cecilia and Brian before stabbing them repeatedly. Cecilia died at the hospital, but Brian Hartnell would survive despite being stabbed in the back 6 times, which is ridiculous. Hartwell also described the man as being 5'8", 6 feet tall, heavy set, weighing about 225 to 250 pounds. He also has dark brown hair that you can see in the eye holes of the mask, of the Zodiac mask that he had. A message was found on the side of Brian's car with the Zodiac symbol on it, and it states that all the 3 dates of the Zodiac killings that are on it. So this one included with the other 2 that he'd done before, on a note on the side of his car. The words saying "by knife" written below below September the 27th. So this time he written that he didn't kill with a gun. Instead, he's changed up to a knife now, and he's put the date on. What's your thoughts on that?
As I said before, with the power, I feel like if you shoot somebody, yes, he might get the thrill from the kill, but if he wants that power, I feel like he's got to get his hands dirty. Do you know, if he wants the power, 'cause to actually kill someone by hand, obviously he had a knife, but obviously you've got to be very close with a knife. You've got to actually be able to overpower them, and I feel like he would have got more of a thrill with a knife than killing with a gun. Yeah, so I feel like that's maybe why he swapped to a knife.
Yeah, but
to feel more powerful.
6 times. Brian Hartwell stabbed 6 times in the back, and he survived. That's mad.
That's mental that he survived. To be honest.
Yeah, and the thing is, obviously, you couldn't get a face ID on him because he was wearing an execution mask. But you're out here, you're having a picnic, yeah? You look over, there's a guy with an executioner-style hood from the medieval days behind her, and he runs at you and he stabs you. You're going to have nightmares for the rest of your life, you know.
Oh, 100%.
That's terrifying. That's more terrifying than the first 4, murders.
Yeah,
attempted murders.
I feel like the especially the first 2, because they actually did die, they wouldn't have been in much pain. It would have been quick. Obviously, I know he got dragged out of the car that the guy did. I can't remember his name now, but I feel like it still would have been relatively quick in regards to surviving 6 stab wounds in the back.
Yeah. Honestly,
it feels like he's getting more power hungry and more evil, if that makes sense.
Yeah, exactly, because it's so quick. Like it's 3 months since he started, and he just can't get enough now.
He's getting worse and worse. Yeah.
And he's also sending letters at the same time to the press and talking with the cops. But this one's gonna blow your mind. All right, I'm telling you now. October 11th, 1969. So again, A few days.
Later, yeah.
A few days since he after killed on the 27th, a few days after. It's before 10 p.m. in San Francisco. It's on the main road, and he's at California, Gresham, on Waters and Cherry. So those are the roads that he's on. He's on Cherry and Washington in San Francisco. A cab driver by the name of Paul Stein was shot in the head by his passenger. A teenage girl from across the street heard the gunshots, along with two witnesses in her home, and got a good look at the man as he wiped down the car and walked away. So this guy didn't run away. He wiped the fingerprints off the car, and he walked at a steady pace away from this murder. And they called the police and described the man as a white male, 25 to 30 years old, 5'8 to 5'9", again similar, stocky, similar, reddish brown crew cut with heavy rimmed glasses, very similar. He wasn't wearing his Zodiac mask over his head and stuff like that, but very similar again. A police car was nearby to come down, so very, very close nearby after the 911 call, came down to investigate the situation pretty much. But the chaos of the situation would actually result in one of the most stupid things you'll ever realize. But the police dispatched these two cops, right, incorrectly identified the assailant as an African-American male instead of a white male.
So that the police identified the killer as an African-American? Even though
that like the dispatcher, like, so the dispatch like got onto the phone to the two police officers, and obviously the woman rang saying it was a white male. Obviously I gave you the description, and the police dispatcher incorrectly identified him as an African American male. Like, obviously this is the 60s, 70s of racism is very prevalent.
Was a big thing then, yeah.
But literally, it's classic, isn't it? Like, it really is. Like, it's a classic, like, back in the day police era. Do you know what I mean? From like the 70s. It's stupid. But doesn't it annoy you that they've done that? Yeah. But wait till.
Obviously, I'm not that dispatch guy, so I don't know if it was kind of a racist move, thinking, I don't like black people, I'm just gonna blame it on a black person.
Yes.
I don't know if he was thinking that way, or it was maybe just a genuine error. Maybe they did have a lot of crime from black people back then, and it might have been mistaken because not a lot of white people made crime. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But during the years that it happened, I'm going to go with that it was a racist move.
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah.
It has to be.
I don't know, but...
It's 1969, okay?
Yeah.
We like, back then it was very prevalent back then with racism and stuff like that. But this incorrect identification would prove to be one of the biggest mistakes ever, and I'm going to tell you why. It will have disastrous consequences of this mistake, right? So a police car that was driven by Officer Donald Fook and Officer Eric Zelms would come up upon a white male walking on the street, on the sidewalk, described by an Officer Fook as 5'10", white male, 170 pounds, about 40 years old. He had glasses, reddish hair, crew cut, same as the neighbour's description of the male that shot Paul Stein in the head, the taxi driver. However, because they were looking for an African American assailant, Fook and Zelms left the man alone and watched him disappear into the park.
No way.
What the fuck? Like, how brutal is that? Like, they had him in their sights, bro.
Gone past the killer.
They walked past him.
Because they're not... Oh, wow.
They drove past him, literally drove past him. Like, they seen him, they were close because they described him, but they drove right past him and he walked into the park and he was left.
See, what I'm thinking now is... The fact that he made the kill on the taxi driver and walked away, didn't run, he just went about his day, walked off.
Yes.
Right? Do you think it is possible that he could have had one of the police officers on payroll, maybe paid him off to make him stay African American. Because if you're making, if you've killed someone, right, you're not going to be just walking off.
No, but yeah,
in my opinion, you're going to be sprinting for the hills, getting as far away from that scene as possible.
But yeah, again, this is
the
a man.
The fact that he's walked off, he's seen the police car coming, hasn't carried on walking, because it's as if he knows the police won't be looking for him.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, this is also a man, Nate. That's you know, this is his 5th victim. You know, he's gotten away with it 4 times now. Like, well, twice. Well, yeah, but like he's gotten away with it for a while now. Like, it's 4 victims now, right? And you know, maybe he's just confident, as you said. Maybe he's just evil. He's like, you know what? I'm just going to walk away. They're not going to get me. And the taxi driver drove past. The cops rolled past him. Like, I think your analogy is very good, but I feel like in this aspect, I feel the most viable solution to that question is that he's got him really confident, and he doesn't think they'll get him, pretty much. And as push comes to shove, he's right. They drove past him like that. Isn't that mad? Honestly, isn't that mad? But we all know it's true, right? Because in another letter, the Zodiac commented on this interaction with the cops. Sent a letter to the press again. He goes, P.S. 2 cops pulled a goof about 3 minutes late after I left the cab. He's laughing at the cops, bro.
Minutes after he's murdered someone, the police just drove past him.
He's literally wrote to the newspaper. He's laughing at the cops. He said they pulled a goof, bruv. 3 minutes after I killed the taxi driver, they pulled a goof, bruv. I walked past them. Honestly, that's the most mind blowing thing.
He's got to have some sort of. He's either really fucked up or really smart, but I don't know, because the fact that he's walking past the police, as I said, 3 minutes after he's just killed someone, it's obvious the police are going to that scene, and he hasn't ran, he hasn't. I mean,
if he runs,
if I was a police officer and I see someone just walking, I'm probably not going to think they've just murdered someone.
Yeah, but remember, they're also looking for an African American.
That's what I'm saying. So it's. Did he know the police wasn't looking for him? Or did he think, if I just walk calmly, they're not going to look for me?
That's a fucker, isn't it?
There's 2 ways of going about it. He either knew they weren't going to look for him, or he knew if he acted calm and collective, they weren't going to look for him.
Exactly.
There's 2 scenarios there.
Yeah.
Either way, he's got away with that.
Honestly. But it's mental. It's absolutely mental. But little did the police officer know that they nearly came into contact with the world's most notorious serial killer at that time. Like, and he's mocking them. Like, he's mocking them.
Literally.
Like, and do you know what? I don't blame him for mocking them, because if you're that close and you must have been thinking, bloody hell, like, how the hell have they just drove past me without even knowing? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Oh my god, it's brain dead. It's brain dead from the cop dispatcher. It's absolutely brain dead.
It really is, yeah.
Because if that person just said white male, stocky, glasses, reddish hair, bang, he's done. He's thrown in. Do you know what I mean? But nope.
What's also different about this kill, Luke, is it's one person. It's not a couple.
Yeah, and it's fucking right in the middle of a public area too.
Yeah, so it's not as if. At first, you could probably think he's targeting young couples, but now he's killed the taxi driver.
Yep.
It ruins the pattern. Obviously, if you're looking for a serial killer, as like say the detective, you're going to be looking for a pattern in what he's doing. This kill ruins the pattern that there was a pattern. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, it's a great analogy. Yes, but also the Night Stalker, who was famously LA killer, who was known to have killed more than 30 people, had no pattern, killed anybody, killed men, women, children, pensioners, anything. So it's definitely possible they didn't stick to the pattern, but also...
Yeah, it is, yeah.
But also...
It's just the first 2 were couples. It looks like a pattern, do you know what I mean?
Well, first 3 actually, because remember, obviously, you know, the one where he stabbed him 6 times, you know what I mean? But he's changing up as well. Do you know what I mean? He's not just using a gun now. He's using a knife. He likes to get dirty. Do you know what I mean? And that's not good. But after this interaction, a composite sketch was drawn, and it was a famous sketch with the crew cut, the glasses, and all that jazz came out as a most wanted poster. The only thing that ever really came out really of it. So people, the nation are looking for him now, but obviously, as we know, it's 2023, and they didn't find him. So, but that is probably the most famous sketch of the Zodiac, pretty much. And it's just terrifying how easy it was for him. Like, another crucial piece of evidence as well at the scene was there was a bloody fingerprint discovered at the cab, right? However, the Zodiac claims in the letter that it was, I was leaving fake clues for the police to run all over town with. So a man left a fake bloody fingerprint, and he's leaving fake clues for the police. So he's messing around with the police again.
He's just playing games at this point. As I say, he's leaving fake clues. There's two ways to go about it. He's either is leaving fake clues, or he's letting them know that they're fake clues, even though they might not be.
Yeah.
It's, as a police officer, I feel like you've got to search these clues, even if you know. Like, if he's written a letter saying these clues are fake, I feel like it's a police officer's job still to follow those fingerprints.
100%.
Because they might not be. He might just be writing that, hoping that they like. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
He's just playing games with him at this point. Though.
He's playing games. He's writing to the press all the time. And here he is. I got another one back again. He goes, "This is the Zodiac speaking. I'm the murderer of the taxi driver over by Washington Street and Maple Street last night." He's just honestly.
He's just doing it and then letting him know. It's like he's trying to build his own case against himself.
Literally,
without leaving clues, if that means. Like, he's letting everyone know, I did this. It's like he's claiming it. He wants the power. He wants everyone to know that he's a dangerous man. But he doesn't want anyone to know who he is.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, again, remember in the ciphers, he said if all three are cracked, his real name and identity will be revealed. So he does kind of want to be known, but at the same time, he's loving
the thing is that
messing around.
These ciphers might not be crackable, because most ciphers need a key.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? If he's writing ciphers but no key,
I know.
Not going to be solved. So it's like that would be even more of a game, because that's a mental game, because in this letter or in this cipher is his identity.
Mm-hmm.
I can never figure it out.
No, never.
That's a mental game, knowing that it's right there, but I will never know it.
I'll tell you what, the Zodiac has got all the cards right now. He's playing the strings. He's making the cops look stupid. He's got all the cards. He's doing everything.
100%.
So here's another piece of evidence. Paul Stein's at the Meva, he got Paul Stein's bloody shirt, right? Even more horrifying, at this murder scene, there was a letter again. He left a letter, the bastard. He left a letter again.
In the taxi?
Yes. He's taking the piss. Bro, I'm telling you, Nate, this guy's taking the piss. But, like, honestly, in this letter he goes, this is what's horrifying about this one, right? He goes, school children make nice targets.
Wow.
I think I shall wipe out a school bus or something and just shoot the front tyres out and then pick off the kiddies as soon as they come bouncing out. Signed, the Zodiac with the sign. I can't be arsed, this guy, man. Honestly, it's just stupid. But then also...
Oh, go on, you go.
But also, right, he put a diagram of how he's going to do it. He's drew a bus, and he's drew where he's going to do it and what he's going to do and shoot the tyres out. Like, it's ridiculous.
When you say he's wrote where, do you mean like the street or the school?
No, he's not sure. He hasn't wrote exactly where, but he's shown on a street. The bus is coming out of a school, and he said he's just going to shoot the tyres out. And he's drew a bus, and his kids are running out the bus, and he's shooting them.
See, to me, he's either playing silly games again, or he generally is, like, in his head, he generally is planning on shooting everyone on a school bus, or he might be keeping the police busy, thinking, right, we need to put a cop car on every single school bus there is, for the foreseeable future, because we don't want this to happen, obviously.
Exactly.
So that kind of keeps all the police busy. So he can be over there, nowhere near a school, and can go kill another couple or another taxi driver or whoever he wants to kill.
Yeah.
Just keeping the police busy.
Yeah, honestly.
You know what I mean?
He's an absolute nightmare.
He's playing games. It's neither here or there. He could do anything. Just because he says he's going to do it doesn't mean he is.
He's a menace.
Games once again.
He's a menace. Like, he is a menace. Like, he's like, you know how like serial killer TV shows nowadays, like The Fool or Dexter and stuff like that. It's all based on him because honestly, he's taking the piss because this guy, you know, is getting away with murder, but the fact he's leaving notes at the crime scene and he's also sending the notes to the press as well, signing with the Zodiac, obviously crosshair that famously has. There was a task force that was made by the police because obviously this guy's getting away with murder and he's making them look like right assholes. So they've made a task force, right? A massive task force for him. Multiple departments to share information about him, to see what they could get about this man. April 20th, 1970, another letter, right? He's back at it again. Sent a letter to the San Francisco Chronicle. It included another cipher. And in the sentence, it goes, "My name is blank." And the name, obviously, is the cipher. So he has one sentence of a cipher, and that's his name. So he's literally, you know, putting it all out there now. He's like, you know, come on, you're taking the piss. I'm waiting. I want to be caught. He does want to be caught, but at the same time, he doesn't want to be caught. But he's got all the strings.
He wants to be caught, but he wants the police to work for it.
Yeah, exactly, bro.
Just give it up.
He's like you go on a date with someone's playing hard to get. That's the Zodiac.
He's literally playing hard to get, but for the police.
Literally,
that's all he's doing.
He's playing hard to get, bro. That's what he's doing, bro. He's moving mad. It will become a point of contention for potential suspects. This letter now, right? So we're gonna get into more suspects, some suspects and some letters too. But he would continue to send more letters through 1970 and he stopped in 1971. But he sent his last letter in 1974 where he claims to, as quote, killed 37 people and bizarrely reviews his viewing on The Exorcist. So he watched The Exorcist live in cinemas, and he left a review in the letter. He goes, "I saw it. I think The Exorcist was the best. I think it says like comedy, yeah, satirical comedy I've ever seen. Signed, yours truly, the Zodiac." That was his last letter. Left a review of The Exorcist. This guy is a fucking nutter. Like, what's your thoughts on this? Because I know I'm laughing because honestly, it's funny.
It's comical how he's acting. It's not comical kind of that he's killing people.
Yeah, exactly.
How he's just messing with the police. It's to me, I'm thinking that he's just very lonely.
Yes.
And that's why he's leaving the letters.
But he stopped now.
Like, he's got no one to write to, so he's writing to the police and the newspapers and stuff like that. Literally.
But like, honestly, like, you know, it is very comical how it's done. It's very comical on how it's all moved about, you know, and sending the letters like that. Leaving a review of The Exorcist as well. I just, and he's saying it's a comedy. Like, I've seen that movie. It's not a comedy, bro. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, he stopped sending letters in 1974. That was the last one. But like, you know, he sent it all through 60s, 69, 70, 71, and then bang. 74, stopped. Forever. Gone. But we're moving a bit forward. 2002, Nath, we were both alive at this point.
Yes, we were.
2002.
4 years old.
Yeah, me, I was 5. 2002, okay. The police were on him again. There was some more developments in this. All right, so give me 1 second here. Let me get my notes up for it.
They kind of went back to the case 30 years later.
Yeah, kind of. But I'm going to tell you now because I need to get my notes up for this one because this is really interesting. But the police department was able to extract a partial genetic profile from the Zodiac layer from the saliva on the stamp, which is interesting. You know what I mean?
Shows how technology has improved since.
Yes. It was not conclusive to identify a single person, but enough to eliminate a potential suspects. And with that, let's take a look at the suspects with the most circumstantial evidence against them. First one, Gary Stewart. This is the first theory. It's from a man called Gary Stewart that a man called Earl Van Best Jr. was a Zodiac killer. It was his father. And even he wrote a book about him, pretty much, on how it could be him and stuff like that. But Earl Van Best Jr. is uncanny resemblance to the Zodiac in every single way. Has the glasses, has the hair, the crew cut, everything. In the Paul Stein killing and stuff like that. His name also matches the number of characters in the cipher for when he put his name out. My name is this, if you get me. Finally, Stewart says handwriting expert is virtually... his handwriting is not the same as the Zodiac's, pretty much, is what I'm saying. This is how it's not him. They kind of like match, but not really, if you get me. But
yeah, handwriting is such a unique thing. It's weird.
Yeah, literally, it's very weird. But it concludes that Van Best Jr. wasn't the Zodiac, pretty much. So he was the first suspect that they kind of looked at, and it wasn't really him. Even though it looked like him, it wasn't him. But the dad, the son just hated the dad, pretty much. I know he matched the description, but he was not a heavy set or a large faced person, pretty much, you know? So he didn't, like, you know, like, do any of that stuff, you know? So that was the DNA as well, didn't, like, match either. So it wasn't him, pretty much. So that was the first suspect that they had, but it didn't really go to plan. Any thoughts on it?
Oh, it sounds to me like the guy just didn't like his dad.
Yeah.
If the handwriting's different, the DNA's different, it's not really worth even being a suspect. It's just someone's like, what do you call it? Just basically might have had a fallout with his dad and thought, fuck it, I'm going to try and get him arrested type thing. But DNA's come out, handwriting's come out, it can't be him, so it's kind of can't do anything about it, really.
Nope. Not at all. Wasn't him. So it's just one of those ones, really, isn't it? So we're going to go on to another one. This is from Robert Graysmith, and this one is a very interesting one because the police were on this fucker for ages. This guy was a bit weird, but they were on him for so long. Also, you know, the 2000 movie, The Zodiac, I don't know if you've watched that, but it's very, very good. It's about the Zodiac Killer. It's got Robert Downey Jr., Mark Ruffalo in it. It's a very, very good movie. But it implements this man by the name of Arthur Lee Allen as the Zodiac Killer. And this was the police's lead suspect for at least about 30 years. But they couldn't charge him with anything, if you get me. So, literally, Arthur Lee Allen. Okay. So, Arthur Lee Allen worked under Robert Graysmith. He was a cartoonist and stuff like that, and he found Lee Allen early, but he wrote a book on him saying the Zodiac and the Zodiac Unmasked, implementing that Mr. Arthur Lee Allen is the Zodiac Killer, pretty much, by the way he was, which is really interesting. So, in the case of it, the day of the third attack of the Zodiac Killer, right, at Lake Berryessa, yeah? Remember the one where he got stabbed 6 times? Alan told his family in 1969 that he was going for a scuba diving lesson at Lake Berryessa the same evening, that the murders happened. He came home that same night covered in blood, head to toe, with a bloody knife in the car. As you recall, you know, Zodiac murdered Cecilia Shepard and nearly killed the other person involved. Don Chaney, a friend of Arthur Lee Allen, who admits Allen referred to himself as the Zodiac before the Zodiac Killer did in the letters. What do you think about that?
If he's bloody clothes, bloody knife, gone to the same lake the same night as the murder happened, and calling himself the Zodiac before the Zodiac Killer did, it's like he always wanted to be called the Zodiac. If it is him, which it most likely is. But if you can't charge him, you'll never know, really. But that's weird. It's like he wanted to be. It's like obviously with the Zodiac sign, the newspapers have called him the Zodiac, but it's as if he was called the Zodiac before that. The newspapers have just called him that as well because of the sign that he did on all the letters.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So this has all come from his friend Don Chaney, right? And he also goes to him that he has planned, like this is coming from his mate now. That's all this stuff, right? About Arthur Lee Allen. He goes, he planned to hunt people with a gun and a flashlight.
And that's exactly what happened.
Yes.
With the car, the second victims with the flashlight, wasn't it?
Yeah, second victims with a flashlight with the car, shot them, and they both survived. But the police interviewed him so many times. Like, so many times. They thought it was him. They had their confidence they had the man, but there's no, obviously, concrete proof on if it was him or not. Pretty much they couldn't do it. But in Alan's second interview, Alan would say that his favourite, his favourite book is The Most Dangerous Game. It's a book about a man who hunted humans. And the book referenced by the Zodiac in the first letter as well. Interesting. And insult to injury, Alan was also wearing a Zodiac. You get this now. He was wearing a Zodiac brand watch, which contained the same symbol as the Zodiac Killer used, the crosshair.
It seems to me like, again, he's playing games because he can make it so obvious that it's him, but no evidence, if that makes sense. Like, he can wear a t-shirt that says, I'm the Zodiac.
Exactly.
But just wearing a t-shirt saying you're the Zodiac doesn't actually make you the Zodiac.
Yep.
Do you get what I'm saying? So having like a Zodiac watch makes it obvious that it's him, or he's just playing games again because they can't arrest him for being a serial killer.
It's
for wearing
so bad.
A watch. It's just games yet again. I think it is obvious that it's him, but again, it's obvious to a point, but there's no evidence. You can't actually charge him with it. Like, you can't charge someone for wearing a watch.
It's so bad, though, isn't it? Like, it really is.
It's games, yeah, again, that's all it is. It's just games.
But I'm ready to blow your mind even more here, right? So, the police searched Alan's trailer. So, he lived in a trailer park, like Eminem did. They found small dissected animals in the freezer, bloody knives, sexual devices, and evidence in the murders in his house. So my man loved to dissect animals, bruv. Bloody knives as well. They couldn't get any evidence off the knives, unfortunately.
That's how Dharma started, isn't it?
Exactly. That's how most of them started. But yeah, exactly. Dharma started on that as well. When he was a kid.
Fact, a lot of serial killers start with killing animals.
Yes. Yeah.
That's like a known thing. They start with killing animals.
But here's interesting stuff right now, right? 1974, Arthur Lee Allen was convicted of child molestation. A crime which he spent 3 years in jail for. Coincidentally, during this time of the Zodiac letters, there was none received from the San Francisco Times. So when he was in jail, no letters. Yeah, no letters. 1987, San Jose jail inmate named Ralph Spinelli speaks to the police, told that Allen admitted to him that he murdered Paul Stein, the taxi driver. In 1991, Detective George Bauer interviews Michael Magoo, again, the fellow who survived the second Zodiac attack with the flashlight, remember? He saw the Zodiac without the mask on. All right, and here you get this, right? He was shown a lineup of photographs, right? And the man who shot at him, and he pointed out that Arthur Lee Allen was the man that shot at him, which is interesting enough. What do you think about that one?
Admitting to someone while you're in prison that you've done something can just end up being a he said.
But
it's his word against mine.
But the cops also have like undercovers in prison sometimes, don't they?
Sometimes, yeah, but it depends. I don't know how that would go in court, because even if, let's say I was the killer and I admitted to being the killer to one person only, and it ended up being an undercover cop, unless that undercover cop in prison was wearing a wire, recording everything.
Yeah, it's still.
As soon as it comes to it, I can say no, I didn't.
Yeah, it's my word against yours.
Yeah. Even if it's a cop or not. That's why most coppers will roll around in twos, even to this day, because then it's 2v1.
Literally, yeah.
If it goes to court, but with the I can't remember what you just said now. I had something to say.
What, with him like talking about like stuff in prison, was it?
What did you say after the prison bit?
Oh, I don't remember. But I'm looking at this, right, and I've got more for you, right? So the investigator's house again, Lee Allen, right? Formless for bonds. He's constructed bombs as well. And, damning, he has tapes about the Zodiac Killer in his house. So...
When you say tapes about the Zodiac Killer, do you mean like tapes as in like videos?
Recorded tapes of like news outlets talking about the Zodiac. He's struck again, you know what I mean? They've got him, they're getting away, you know?
It's like he's playing games again because...
He's playing games.
Tapes about it. It's like he's making it so obvious that it's him, but no evidence to prove it.
Yeah, literally. But
he literally may as well be wearing a t-shirt saying "I am the Zodiac Killer."
Yeah,
and just walking into a police station.
Yeah, but they'll still
they can't charge him.
Yeah, but they still won't charge him anyway because they'll falsely identify him as an African American male because that's what apparently they've done back in the 60s.
It's all games.
It's all games. But get this: 1 year later, August 1992, he was found dead at his home from a suspected heart attack. Arthur Lee Allen. So the Zodiac. With that, let's transition on why Allen may not be the Zodiac Killer, right?
Go on.
DNA compared to Allen's DNA extracted from the post-it stamp was non-conclusive. Wasn't him. So
non-conclusive or wasn't him?
It wasn't a match, but it can also be deemed as inconclusive as well. But it wasn't a match, pretty much. The profile didn't exactly match him either, with the glasses, the crew cut, and the build. He had the build, but he didn't have the look. Accidentally in 1971, they took Allen's prints, but the prints did not match the bloody fingerprint. But as we said, they left fake clues, didn't they?
Yeah.
From the Paul Stein crime scene. They also had Allen undergo a handwriting analysis to check if the handwriting again matched, but it wasn't a match again from the Zodiac. So not matched against this.
You can change your handwriting though.
Yeah.
In a way, like if you're writing letters to a newspaper and then it depends how the police made him write to get the handwriting. If they said, right, we need your handwriting, write down this, like just copy this, then you can change it up because you know for a fact that the police are going to be can't say the word, looking at your handwriting.
Exactly.
And you can change it up in that sense, unless they tricked him into like maybe writing something. But if you know that the police are going to be looking at your handwriting, you can change it up.
Now,
and also with the DNA on the stamp, it's a long time for your DNA to be mixed with the residue on the stamp, the germs on the paper. It's a lot of time for it all to be mixed together to basically change your DNA. It is. So
police departments widely believed that Arthur Lee Allen was the Zodiac, pretty much. That was him. But this is the last theory. This was about a man called Lawrence Kane. This came from a police officer. They thought he was the Zodiac Killer. He was involved in a car accident in 1962, right, which resulted in the brain damage and influencing his behaviour about Kane, right? This is the third like theory. As far as a psychologist, said Kane was, as quote, losing the ability to control self-gratification, right? So this is the first thing about it. Kane's can be seen in the Zodiac's name in the cipher, You can make out that Kane is in the cipher, pretty much, is what they've kind of gathered about this fella, and stuff like that, you know? So the police, with the cipher, there's certain like numbers in there, and if you add them all up, it says 1924, right? In the ciphers, and Kane was born in 1924, pretty much. So they kind of like go and grasp at straws a little bit here, if I'm honest. Do you know what I mean? About this Kane fella, right? So, literally, there was another attack on another woman called Darlene Ferran, right? Which wasn't mentioned before, but that she had a sister and said that Kane was the man that followed Darlene home in the weeks leading to Darlene's murder. So this Darlene woman had a stalker, and she said that Kane was the man that was stalking her, pretty much. Something kind of like that, pretty much, you know? But it was what was interesting about this Darlene one, it was similar to the location on where Paul Stein, the taxi driver, was murdered. So kind of close vicinity area, if you get me. But obviously the officers, the description didn't match of Kane to where the officers said that your man on the street looked like, and the same description of the other person. But Kane lived so close to where the Zodiac got picked up in the taxi by, what's his name, Paul Stein, actually 2 blocks away, which was quite interesting as well. So people kind of thought it was Kane, but I'm not too sure. But people also put Kane in the position where Zodiac victims were killed as well, in different places. Witnesses have seen Kane around those areas, pretty much, if you get me. So that's all I really have on Kane.
All the kills.
Yeah, like there people have put him in like some areas where he is. That's all I really have on Kane. You know what I mean? But his stuff is kind of unrelated to the Zodiac stuff, if you get me. But it could be the same as the Zodiac claimed that, you know, he killed 37 people. So I don't know, but like,
I wonder what happened with all the rest. Because obviously he's wrote letters and played games with the police for the 3 couples and the taxi driver. Mm-hmm. Why didn't he write letters and play games with the other 30 people?
I don't know.
Do you know what I mean?
Makes no sense. That's what
makes you think.
Yeah, but this also Kane, by the way, didn't match the post-it stamp for the saliva, didn't match the fingerprint either, as well. So obviously we don't know. He could be a bit nutty, but I'm not too sure, you know? Yeah. But here's the question I ask you. Who do you think done it? Who is it?
If you want the truth, I personally think it was Arthur Lee Allen. Let's just say it has to be one of the people you just mentioned. I'm going Arthur Lee Allen. Mm-hmm. Purely because I feel like he was the one playing games when the police thought it was him. Yeah. And all throughout, the Zodiac Killer was playing games. So it kind of matches the same sort of style of play.
Yeah. Like
wearing a Zodiac watch could be a pure coincidence. Mm-hmm. But the fact that they think it's him and it's about the Zodiac Killer, mm-hmm. I just feel like that Arthur Lee Allen was playing games the whole time, like having the stuff in his caravan, wearing the watch. It's all too much to be a coincidence.
Yeah.
He was either the Zodiac Killer or a fan of his work.
Could be a copycat.
Because you do get like your copycat with serial killers. You do get that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, I was inclined to believe that it was Arthur Lee Allen for many years as well. Obviously, I first found out about the Zodiac back in nearly 10 years ago. I was only young. But, Nath, they found him. And it wasn't Arthur Lee Allen. 2021, Nath. Nearly how many years? 62
years ago.
62 years ago.
Wait, we're in 24. Yeah, we're in 23 now, aren't we?
23, yeah. So, 23. 62 years ago. 62 years. They found out who he is. By the man by the name of Gary Francis Post. Now, in the lead up to it, there was no such evidence about Gary Francis Post on any of the suspect theories, whether it was Arthur Lee Allen or Kane or anything like that. None of them, right? So people believe that it is him, right? And they have evidence proving that it's Post, if you get me. What was known about him is that he lived a double life in the town where these murders have happened. He dropped out of sight in 1974 with a final letter to the media, pretty much as we know. But Post was living in California at the time. He was a mild-mannered house painter, and he was well-liked by the locals, kind of like John Wayne Gacy, well-liked by the locals and stuff like that. But he also began recruiting young men in their late teens and early 20s for a personal criminal gang in the picturesque mountain town 26 miles west of Yosemite, which is close to where they were. They said that Post had stayed loyal for decades, and he died in 2018. So this guy is dead. So he's literally got away with murder, pretty much.
Yeah.
So he died in 2018. He lived a full life, very, very old. He taught these people that he had under his wing how to make a pipe bomb and stuff like that. And he loved, apparently, fooling the cops as well. So obviously, you know, he loved fooling the cops. But he moved to this town after a past life after 1974, pretty much, when the last letter happened. So he left it all behind him and he moved, pretty much. But he would kill animals for fun, apparently, as well on these hiking trips and stuff like that. And he was pretty much gave kind of a weird vibe about it to the whole group, if you get me. He was a weird person. Like, he was one of those people that you just kind of like think about.
Shady guy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But it was proven with evidence that it is Gary Francis Post, that they actually have him now, because the technology that we have nowadays, they finally got him. Which, you know, it doesn't matter now, he's dead, but it's believed that...
It still solves the case, though.
Yeah.
Even if they can't charge anyone, it's still...
But Post had come out and he said that, you know, that he did kill these people back in the day and stuff like that, and he did, like, you know, do all these things to these people, because obviously when the cops found out about it, they tracked him down, like tracked the people that knew him, because obviously he was dead. But he only died like 3 years before they found out it was him. Do you know what I mean? They're so close. But there you go. Gary Francis Post is your Zodiac Killer. And finally, after 60 years of waiting for, like, it's grand for us, like, but for people that are around wanting to know the truth.
So before he died, how is it the police came to know it was him? What?
I think there was... I didn't see anything on the articles that I read, but because they kind of kept it hush-hush, if I'm honest, and how they found out. But I think it was DNA evidence on the Post-it stamp, and the ciphers. They cracked one of the ciphers as well. That kind of gave him hints on who he was, and obviously the fingerprint was real. They kind of had a little bit of a hint of that, but not too much. But they put it all together, and it was him. So pretty much that's how they found out it was him. Pretty much. But they've been quiet about it, how they actually found out it was him, you know. But it wasn't.
It would be quiet. I feel like if you've used some sort of thing to catch someone,
yes,
you're not going to make it known, because then people will know not to do that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? They're going to keep stuff hush hush, so people don't copy it or work around it, type thing.
No, but they kept it quiet. But there you go. Like that's the story of the Zodiac. That's everything that I can find up about him and find what happened. And I want to see, obviously, it's the first case we've tackled on this channel that's solved now, but it was the most interesting unsolved case for more than 62 years, and only recently has it been solved. So it still kind of counts.
I was coming into this podcast thinking it was still unsolved, because when I've kind of been looking at the Zodiac Killer for the podcast, I couldn't see anything about it being solved, which I presumed would have been maybe the top thing about the Zodiac Killer, with it being quite recent as well. But I couldn't see anything about that, which is why I was surprised when you said it's been solved, because I had noticed about Arthur Lee Allen, which is who I presumed that it was.
Yeah, me too.
Again, there was no evidence against it. But it makes you think that if it wasn't Arthur Lee Allen, was he maybe friends with Post at some point, playing games still? Or was there no correlation between the two, and he might have been a fan of the Zodiac?
We don't know.
It makes you think that how could there be kind of so much not necessarily evidence, but so much pointing towards Arthur Lee Allen, and it not be him.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes you think. But then again, there are lots of people even today that are in prison for crimes they didn't commit. So it makes you think. Even 60 years ago, how many people were put in prison for stuff they didn't do because of the lack of technology to prove things. So it makes you think how smart the Zodiac really was. The fact that he wasn't even a suspect this whole time.
No, not a suspect.
He's dead. It makes you realize how smart he actually was.
But yeah, until he is dead, and he literally got away with murder multiple times. The cops did not get him at all. He's laughing in their faces.
The only thing that he's got now he's been found, is his name is now kind of tarnished with that he was a serial killer. But from the sounds of things, even if he was alive, I don't think he'd be that bothered.
No, not really.
I think he kind of wanted it. The fact that he put his name in the ciphers to be cracked. The fact that it's took 60 years to find out who it is.
It's mental, isn't it?
It makes like he must have been really fucking smart, really smart.
Oh yeah, 100% smart. He had everyone fooled.
He's wrote ciphers 60 years ago that have only kind of just been cracked 60 years later.
Like, very smart. Like, and like the thing is, you know it's him because he's referencing things that happen, like the police officers, like literally just laughing at him. Like, yeah, listen, you're that close, but you didn't get me this time. You done a goof. Like honestly, it's mental. It is mental. Like how, you know, he got away with it all and stuff like that. But it just makes you think, doesn't it? Obviously nowadays, it's you gotta be, if you're a serial killer now, like, you must be so hard. I don't want anyone to. I haven't heard any serial killers nowadays. You see, so that's fucking great. But
in the UK especially, the UK is the
everywhere.
World's most watched country.
Oh, there's cameras everywhere.
CCTV wise, like every alleyway has a camera because there's usually like a business onto it. Like the UK is the world's most watched country. Out of even America, every city in America. So, especially in the UK, it'd be extremely hard. But most of these well-known famous serial killers come from America.
Most of them, yeah. But you remember, there's still a few in England, though, man. Like,
yeah, you still get it, but it's just a lot harder. I feel like you've got to be a lot smarter if you're going to do it in the UK. But
yeah, it's a brain teaser.
Nowadays, it's hard. Like back then, there wasn't CCTV. There wasn't the technology that you had nowadays for getting fingerprints and DNA or stuff like that. Back then, I would have presumed it would have been pretty easy to be a serial killer. All you've got to do is make sure there's no witnesses and you don't leave evidence.
Exactly.
Now, you've got to leave no evidence, no witnesses, no DNA, no fingerprints, you got to leave none of them.
Much.
It's like you know what I mean? There's so much to think about. You've got to be smart.
So yeah, but there you go. That's the story of the Zodiac, my friend. This is my choosing this week, of course, and we'll see who chooses next anyway, because we'll definitely have you back on if you want to.
I'm always down with you know that, always.
Let's go. But lads, I've been RatBagLuke. I stream on Twitch 4 days a week. If you guys didn't know, I'm a Twitch streamer. The Morgue is another thing that I do, but 4 days a week, twitch.tv/RatBagLuke, and that's how we do. We have a lot of fun on there. Different type of content to what you see over here on the Morgue. More happier content, pretty much. But yeah, I stream FIFA 4 days a week. So if you guys are bored, want to see more of me, check me out on Twitch. And my man over here, Nath, take it away. Where can they find you, my friend?
No longer on Twitch, guys. I'm now on kick.com/NathOnKick. We're playing a lot of Valorant, a lot of Rocket League. We're absolutely vibing over there. So come check me out. Go check Luke out. Promise you'll have fun in either channel. Literally
either channel, kick.tv/NathOnKick and twitch.tv/RatBagLuke. The good stuff, lads. We do our best. But anyway, lads, that's been episode 3 of the Morgue. It's done. We've got it out. The next episode of the Morgue will be coming out soon. I think we're going to have a different guest for the next one, but we're definitely going to have Nath back on future, 100%, because obviously you guys like a lot of Nath and I like him too, so we're going to have him on. And the next time Nath's on here, it'd be his choosing, so it'd be his choice. It'd be his choice again, but we'll have a special guest coming on for the next episode, and then Nath will be back again. So yeah, lads, without further ado, this is the Morgue. This is where we try and figure out the unsolved and give you guys some details and facts about how it could have happened, pretty much, and what happened. But with this case, we knew what happened, but it's still a mind fuckery case, and there's a reason why the Zodiac is one of the most interesting cases of all time. But without further ado, guys, I've been RatBagLuke. He has been
NathOnKick.
That's right. And we'll see you guys later. Thank you all so much for the love and support. We'll see you very, very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.